I think from a younger age, I appreciated exercising. Like I knew it was, it was a good for me, and I knew I felt somewhat better. And you know how it is having young kids; it's hard to prioritize that. And so, for many years, when my kids were younger, I taught aerobics, and that was kind of my excuse to get out, teach. A lot of times, where I taught how to gym, so I could put them in the gym, babysitting room, and go teach. So it was more of a good coping mechanism. When I started getting to be closer to 40, I realized, oh boy, that mama bod is coming. Yeah, there's some changing that's about to happen. And I kind of had a conscious effort to step it up. And actually, it was a conversation I think I had with you and Dana had done like a triathlon or something. And it sounded so fun. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of fun.
She did do that first.
Yes.
Before me.
Yes. And you guys were talking about it one time, and I was like, that sounds really cool. I think I want to put this on a bucket list. I might hate it. Only small issues is, number one, I didn't know how to swim. Number two, didn't own a bike. Three, I could run, but I wasn't really a runner at that point. But I'm like, hey, that's what bucket lists are for. Just like step out there. So for my 40th birthday, I signed up for my first like sprint triathlon. And one thing that I noticed from that training for that, first, it was really hard, and I still had a lot of kids at home and busy with that, but I felt so much better, emotionally better. I felt more patient. I felt more organized in my own thoughts. I realized that what it was doing for me mentally was really more important than what it was doing for me physically. It became like a lifestyle change. Just doing that one triathlon, I kept going with it because I felt so much better. And I read this book around that time called Spark by Dr. John Ratey.
I remember when you read that book, because you were telling me about it when we were on our runs.
It was life-changing. It made sense to me because I'd experienced kind of this benefit from working out. And then I read the book, and Dr. Ratey explains how we've basically engineered our way out of movement. Like we've advanced so far that we can literally wake up as humans now and do nothing all day. We can get in our car, drive to work, sit at our desk all day, go home, sit and watch TV. We don't have to move, but our ancestors, just to survive, had to work. They had to physically work. They had to carry water. They had to cut wood. They have to, hunt, collect berries. They work so hard. We don't, and we survive.
It's part of why the findings with the Mediterranean diet and different pockets of the world where people are thriving and Alzheimer's is not as prevalent and whatnot, are places where there's a lot of hills and they're walking and they're using their bodies just naturally.
The blue zones.
Yes, exactly.
And, Dr. Ratey explains kind of the physiology of exercise and movement. And he explains that when we hit certain cardiovascular levels, our brains release this perfect elixir of serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, and it makes us feel really good. And it used to be that happened on a daily basis because people worked to live. Now we don't hit those thresholds anymore. We can go weeks, months. And then the rest of his book, each chapter is dedicated to a different psychiatric condition like ADHD or anxiety or depression. And just talks about how now we medicate all those things because we simply don't help ourselves.
Not comfortable.
Yeah, right.
In some way.
And that book really resonated with me, I think, because it explained to me in scientific terms why I felt so much better when I changed my exercise routine. I was exercising before I was teaching aerobics, but when I started hitting probably truly those thresholds, I started feeling better, feeling more organized in my own head, I had more focus. I could get tasks done. I was more patient with my kids. And so I kind of kept going with that because I felt like I was a better person.
Yeah. Well, and then you really kept going because then she's somebody who takes a goal and then just like goes above and beyond and knocks it out of the park, which is always fun to watch. And I think why you inspire me so much. But you went from the triathlons and then got into marathons. And so you really became a runner, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, running was, like I said, I didn't know how to swim when I started. Neither do you, I remember.
I know, I didn't. I had to take some lessons.
Neither of us. I still remember your pink fingernails coming out of the water. But yeah, running just was more adaptive to being a mom at the time. It's like easy to slip out the door in the early morning, get a run in. And I still ride my bike and, but yeah, marathons and running just was a little more simple to keep up with.
And simple, I think, is so relative because but I think you gradually got there. But for instance, I'm just thinking how I know this morning I was kind of joking as I'm texting her and asking her for a ride, and I said it probably, what did I say? Something like, after you run your 8 miles this morning, and later she responds with like a thumbs up. Yep, done, check, did that. Just quickly getting up and running a quick 8 miles before, running off to do the next errand. So, I mean, you definitely incorporated it into your life and it's become staple and in a big way because not everyone's jumping up and just has to do 8 miles to get your day going.
And I think that it's one of those things. It doesn't have to be everyone. It looks different for each person. And the key, I think, is finding what you love. And you might love pickleball. You might love dancing. You might love rowing. There's so many things that have to do with moving your body to love. It's just finding what you enjoy. Because if you enjoy it, you're more likely to do it. And if you do it, you're more likely to feel good. And then you're more likely that positive reinforcement loop starts and you're more likely to repeat and keep doing it. But it is so important for all of us, and especially as women, when we can be so strung out with so many other things that seem more important, the care of our kids, our jobs, our whatever, our obligations. It seems way more important than taking care of ourselves.
So the natural tendency is to put our needs last when we really need to be putting them first.
Because we can do more if we feel good.
So I love that then this, if we follow along in your journey, it then led you to going back to school after the age of
50 something.
Can we say after the age of 50?
Yes.
She went back to school and didn't go back to school in some small way. You went to Harvard. And
it's a certificate program, but I mean, it was going to school after not being in school since being in my 20s. It's a different world out there.
I remember I think I'd come in town when you were doing that, and I was wanting to play. Like, I'm actually in school at Harvard. It's kind of hard. I haven't been doing this for a long time. I can't play right now. That was. Very out of the comfort zone. And, but glad I did it. I think we all kind of get into our routines and it's hard to break them. I think the older we get is probably even more important that we do break that. I think we need to build new neural pathways, although we resist it. I know I resist it. But it's so good to try to keep that mental elasticity and keep progressing as much as we can. So tell our audience what you were studying and what you're now doing with that piece of education.
So I mean,
this is one of the things that you added to your repertoire.
So I work, for the last over 20 years, I worked for my husband and I have a business. He's a primary care doctor. We opened up a primary care clinic, and all the years raising the kids, I did the administration, which was a good thing to do being a mom, because I had that flexibility to drop what I was doing, run and get kids, come back. But I was, managing the staff, doing the payroll, doing the claims, billing. We now call it my dungeon job because it was really not fun and not good. But then after 20 years of doing that, we decided to change our business model to more of a value and prevention model. And that goes from high volume medicine, high volume care down to more quality care. So all of a sudden I'm thinking, wow, we're not going to need me to be working 40 hours a week, filing claims, managing a big staff. We're going to have a smaller staff. And I thought, this is either my exit or this is where I change it up. So I decided to go back to school in two different ways. One is a certificate. It's not a degree from Harvard, but a certificate from Harvard in health coaching, lifestyle, and wellness. And then I also went to a community college to learn phlebotomy. And with those two things, I kind of reinvented my role in the clinic into more of a patient care, doing all of the screenings for my husband's practice, which he does a very in-depth annual wellness exam, which is 3 hours. So I do the first hour and a half, which is gathering all the data, the EKG, the spirometry, the body composition, the ankle brachial index, the body, the ears, eyes, brain check, you name it, drawing the blood for like 22 different labs. And, it's really fun being with the patients, but it's also a good way to get to know people because then when he makes lifestyle recommendations to them, instead of saying, hey, you need to work on diet and exercise, it's more like you need to work on this or that. And then we've got a coach to help you.
Yes.
And
you have all the data to back up what you're suggesting.
Because I've got it from him.
You have it from him.
Yeah.
And so you can have a lot of ways to measure results.
Yeah. He's looking at the labs. He's looking at the hard data of what this person needs. And so, remind me sometime to tell you about a really fun coaching where this person needed to gain weight. It was the best session ever. I'm like, hey, triple fat yogurt, let's go for that. I'm looking up these peanut butter, triple chunk,
Wow.
Yeah. But so yeah, he gives that raw data that what the goal needs to be scientifically. And then I can help that person and coach that person to try to reach that health marker.
Yeah.
So
I know you've loved it, right?
Yeah.
Because you've loved learning, growing. I know a lot of women get to our stage of life and may not know what to do and have a hard time reinventing yourself, like what you've done. Having the courage to go back to school, that takes a lot of courage. And you've done that. What kind of advice would you say to help people get through that, those changes to do it? Because as I've watched you, I've seen you do it with so much grace and fluidity, just, I think you're a naturally resilient person. I've learned that about you through our friendship. And you've applied that same resiliency and just ability to redirect and change and go with the flow. So a lot of things there. But what advice would you give women who bump up against this? Because we're not the only ones. Yeah, I think believe in yourself. Just believe you can. I know I had a lot of self-doubt too. Just like, oh, I don't know if I can go back to school. I don't know if I can make the time. I still felt like my life is full of other priorities. Just a lot of self-doubt. Can I really do something different? Can I really learn it? You have a full life of kids and grandkids. And
Yeah. So I think self-doubt is something that we all have and struggle with. And I guess the only way to combat that is to just try and realize, I definitely had and have had hard days where I'm like, am I really doing this? Like the phlebotomy, like drawing blood. Oh, just, it's one of those things like I'll be doing great and all of a sudden I'll miss a draw. And I'm like, why did I think I could do this? Like, what am I doing? Like, is this me? Yeah. Like really? So yeah, I think self-doubt is a very real thing. And the only thing we can do is press against it, keep pushing on it and just saying, because one minute, yeah, you're right, I can't do that. Another minute, it's like, oh, wait, I can. And so in that constant pressing the boundaries of doubt, I think we move the ball and end up getting somewhere.
It's that action that you need to just take the step forward. I think so many times in life, we stop because we don't feel like doing it or because it's hard. But really, that's when we just need to keep pushing. Anyway, because a lot of times we're not going to feel like doing something.
Right.
But we really can.
Yeah, it's true. And those voices that in our head that say you can't or you shouldn't or you're too busy. That's a big voice. Oh, you're too busy. It comes down to really what you really want. And people do with their time what they really want.
Yes.
Yeah.
And speak to us a little bit about time, because you are somebody who's been a real maximizer of time and efficiency, and you get a lot done in the day. A lot done
sometimes.
in the day. And what would be your hack for that? Because people do not do things. They, I think a natural tendency might be to think, oh, I can't go back to school. I can't possibly find the time for that. And you're a busy person, but you found the time. How are you? What are your thoughts going through your head to help you?
I think that, one of the biggest ones is what feeds the energy loop, like what keeps you going, like what things fill your bucket and keeps that motivation up. Like I've learned that a basic need that I have is to exercise because I do feel more productive. I feel ironically more energy. So I think when I want to, be my most productive self, I start with what I know I need, which is, and it's different for everybody, right? Some people really need their sleep. Some people really need to manage their stress. Some people need social connectivity. There's, yeah. Look, and a podcast, here we are, but to know yourself and know what really fills your bucket and kind of gives you that energy, and then to do that thing so that you have more time to do some of the other things that maybe don't really fill your bucket or hit the scale. But yeah, to take that time and find out what is it that I really need. Some people is eating right. If they don't eat right, they don't feel good. They don't feel good. They don't exercise. They don't exercise. They don't sleep. They don't sleep. They get stressed. You know, there's this whole loop, these pillars of health that we all need to live by, but we also need to know which one comes first.